Hey, welcome back to Trek on the Tube. Yes, my voice is a little different. That's because I'm feeling a little under the weather, but don't worry, that won't stop me. No, it won't. It won't stop him now. As I was saying, it won't stop me, and we're gonna talk about Star Trek Discovery. We're still gonna do this review. Star Trek Discovery, Season 3, Episode 5, Die Trying. Because we're having a good time, we're having a good time. We're in a spaceship floating through the stars with a spore drive. That's enough. Go away. Please excuse Please excuse Mirror Trek on the Tube. He gets a little excited, and he's very hard to control, but he's excited for a good reason. He's excited because in this episode, we actually got some interesting things with Mirror Universe Emperor Jojo. That's right, they did something interesting with her character, and I guess that's a good place to start. So let's get this whole Jojo thing out of the way first. The ex-Emperor of the Mirror Universe didn't just walk around making snarky comments. In this episode, she was rather taken in for questioning, and I couldn't be happier about that. It makes sense that so far in the future people are able to detect from what universe you come from. It makes sense that she would be taken into custody and questioned, and the intrigue set up by the interrogation scene and the final scene is awesome. So yeah, apart from the blinking thing, which I found a little, I don't know, a little odd, maybe a little far-fetched, everything Jojo related in this episode was well written and was good. It was fun to watch. Yes, finally. So much so that, believe it or not, for the first time ever, I actually felt for her. And for the first time since basically she joined the show, I could potentially see some kind of groundwork being laid for her redemption when it was mentioned that the Terran Empire fell years ago and that she is now all alone. It's not like we didn't know this. I mean, we've seen what happened to the Terran Empire in Deep Space Nine, but to have everything laid out in front of the Emperor, to confront her with the fact nothing she once knew or valued or was ever a part of still exists, it's all gone. I mean, it kind of enabled me to better understand the clean slate argument. Now, I'm gonna get a bit philosophical here, but stick with me, okay? Who we are is not simply what we do or what we say. Who we are is the effect we have on what surrounds us. Who we are is each ripple and change that we create in the space and time in which we live. But if that space and time are completely gone, then what's left of us other than the decisions that we have yet to make, right? So keeping that in mind, Emperor Jojo was who she was in a reality that no longer applies to her existence. And because of that, thanks to how this episode laid it all out, I am now more open to the idea of her redemption. Alright, let's move on, but not too far, because my bet is that this is no longer the Emperor, but rather Glasses Man. I know he has a name, I still can't remember it, so Glasses Man is what I'm calling him. He is either from the Mirror Universe, or the head of Section 31, or responsible for the burn, or all three of them. That's my theory craft. And now brace yourselves because I'm gonna say something controversial. I've already said it before. I said it in the discussion we did with Starfleet Boy, but I'm gonna say it again. Glasses Man is a white man, and without getting into the social and political implications of this whole conversation, I'm gonna say that often nowadays, if there's a white guy, he's the villain, especially in Discovery. Lorca, Leland, Glasses Man, you know what I mean? And I know Leland was technically Control, the evil AI, but they still had Control physically manifest as a white guy. As I said, I'm really not trying to make a political statement here, and please don't get this twisted. I could not care less who they cast as villains in shows, be it today or before. I'm just looking at this from a narrative perspective and pointing out a trope that exists in storytelling today. So my bet is that Glasses Man is the villain of the season. I mean, we always need someone to beat up, and this is the guy. All right, let's move away from that. Let's put all of the Jojo specifics aside and talk about this episode as a whole. Honestly, I think this was probably one of my favorite Discovery episodes ever. Not only did I get a kind of warm feeling on a personal level, we were with the Federation, there was a command structure, and a sense of not only belonging but also duty. All of that vibe really worked for me, but we also got an incredible little mystery, a transporter accident, no less, that demanded Star Trek-style problem solving and delivered character development / sacrifice. And then, to top it all off, we got mentions of the Temporal Cold War, of the Temporal Accords. We learned that Kaminar and Barzan joined the Federation at some point, which all falls into the realm of world building. Also, there were answers, how many members are left in the Federation, etc. Things really felt like they were moving forward from a season perspective, and that was gratifying. And yet that didn't stop the episode from taking the time to present to us a unique and memorable self-contained story about the Seed ship and its assigned protectors. I do have a few minor complaints about that conclusion, emphasis on minor complaints. I talked about this behind the scenes with Braxton. Shout out to Braxton. This plant protection dude didn't need to die. He could have been saved, but then again, it might be a Barzan thing to rejoin one's family in the next plane of existence. We just don't know enough about their culture, so I'll let this one pass. The bigger thing is the Federation seemed to need that ship and all of the samples that came with it, but Nan just took it. Now, I'm assuming the Barzan homeworld is still a Federation member, so taking the ship there does work, I guess. But yeah, that was a bit strange. I also like the sentiment that Nan wanted to finish the first Barzan shift, but truly the Discovery could have just jumped back and forth in order to get a replacement officer or botanist. So again, yeah, those 2 or 3 plot points could have been maybe tightened up a bit in the script in order to have a more satisfying conclusion. But hey, it's a thing in Star Trek to have conclusions that don't necessarily live up to the ideas and concepts being presented in the episode. So, tradition. And I'm fine with it. Speaking of concepts and ideas, the Seed ship itself was awesome. The giant distortion bubble protecting the Federation fleet was creative. The Keeley alien design was interesting, even if we didn't get the best of looks at it. Even the name, Emerald Chain, they gave to the alliance between the Orions and Andorians, among others, I think, sounded really cool. Honestly, I think a lot of good ideas went into this episode. I'm thoroughly impressed. The new uniforms as well, come on, you gotta love them. Anyway, Discovery as a show finally feels at home. I said this in my season premiere review, but I'll say it again. All of these visuals, the technology, the look of these ship designs, the show is now free to do them as they want and explore the minds of its creatives. It took a while, but they're finally here now, and it's paying off, because I like it. Anyway, that's about it. There was an opening Captain's Log, and I enjoyed that. The performances, generally speaking, were fine. The music, even if I do find it good, is always a bit too present on this show. It's okay to have a Captain's Log without music. Doug Jones is, well, Doug Jones. He can carry a voiceover sequence without music, no sweat. Detmer is still dealing with PTSD. And before we move on to the Easter eggs, let's just talk about Discovery's arrival at the headquarters for a minute. First of all, they're also trusting. This entity that is the Federation, or supposed to be the Federation, takes control of the ship, doesn't contact them via audio or video, and then beams 3 people directly off the bridge. I mean, I get that they said they're nice people, and I get that they said that they're the Federation, but I would be freaking out, hot damn. Second, what exactly was Saru and Burnham expecting when they arrived at Starfleet headquarters? Of course, the crew is going to be reassigned. The ship needs to be refit. The ship is 1,000 years old, even if it has this spore drive design, and even if they need to keep, I suppose, the ship intact, they're going to need to study it. They're going to need to retrofit it, update it, so that the shields work. 3 episodes ago, they got hit. They nearly got blown up by one torpedo. It went straight through their shields. Anyway, what were they expecting? Granted, they could all get a week off. They could all chill out in that rainforest for a bit. But, yeah. Anyway, these aren't complaints, though. That's amazing. I'm not complaining. I'm just talking about Star Trek the way I talk about any episode of Star Trek. So, good episode. Thumbs up. Congratulations to Sean Cochran for writing it. You're the best. And let's now move on to the Easter eggs and references. Let's go. The USS Nog. I could have chosen a more logical order, I suppose, to do these Easter eggs, but the USS Nog is clearly a reference to the Deep Space Nine character Nog, and this is most definitely an homage to our dearly departed Aaron Eisenberg, so of course I'm gonna start off with that. May he rest in peace forevermore in the great beyond of the universe. This was more than just an Easter egg, it was a nice touch, it was heartwarming, so yes, the USS Nog. I suppose it only makes sense to carry on with all other ship-related references. Among those we see when we enter the Federation bubble is the USS Voyager NCC 74656J. This is not only a reference to the USS Voyager from Star Trek Voyager, but the J is also a nod to how we once saw the Enterprise J in Star Trek Enterprise. Now, when the Voyager J appeared on screen, I'm pretty sure we got a few notes of the Voyager theme, though I could be mistaken. And then someone on the Discovery Bridge points out that some of these new ship hulls are organic, which is yet another nod to the Enterprise J, which was, I don't know if it's canon or not, that it was organic. Anyway, once we arrive in the command center of our new headquarters, we see a giant 3D holographic map of the galaxy. This has been taken from Larry Nemechek's stellar cartography. From what I understand, we'll be seeing more of this in future episodes. On the map, we can see many references to Star Trek's previous iterations. For example, the Kazon Clan Forum and Talax. Both were species and planets from the Delta Quadrant, first seen in Voyager. We also get the labels Founder's Homeworld and Cardassia Prime, which are references to some of the villains from Deep Space Nine. There's also a label Federation Deep Space Outpost 36. This could be a nod to Deep Space Nine as well, or maybe Deep Space Station K7 from the original series. In any case, the words Deep Space are commonly used by Starfleet and in Star Trek. Some more things we notice are Celis, which is a place mentioned in Nemesis, also Valt and Hali, which are respectively a species and a Klingon planet that came up in The Next Generation. During the episode, we hear mention of 5-year missions. This is a reference to the duration of the mission that Kirk went on in the original series. There's also a word about Sigma Draconis, which is where one of those missions took place. I'm talking about the episode Spock's Brain. We continue on with mention of 30th century events such as the Temporal Cold War and the signing of the Temporal Accords, which are references to events we kinda got glimpses of in Enterprise. We also learned that the Barzans and Kelpians joined the Federation. Both these species were not members when last we saw them, which was in The Next Generation and just one season ago in Discovery, respectively. The Federation is stated to have had at one point 350 members, by the way, which is insane. This is basically an EMH, a holographic doctor. Voyager was the first show to give us one of them. Picard then followed. Of course, we could also count the cameo appearance in First Contact. Point is, holographic doctors have become a thing in the franchise, even if they're always a bit different. Another thing in the franchise is transporter accidents. They have existed since the original series, and we got yet another one here in this episode. Also, a common trope is existing out of phase, or people existing out of phase. To finish this all off, let's talk Mirror Universe. April 5th, 2063 is mentioned. We know this as First Contact Day, the day Vulcans and humans peacefully but awkwardly greeted each other for the first time. Over in the Mirror Universe, things didn't quite happen the same way. I'll let you discover that by yourself. We saw that in Enterprise, and as we pointed out earlier in the video, the collapse of the Terran Empire was shown to us in Deep Space Nine. Alright, that's all of it. That's the review. Those are the Easter eggs. Thank you so much for watching. Please do excuse Mirror Trek on the tube. I don't know what he's doing now. No, I'm not asking you, Bob. No, I'm not asking you. He's probably just trying to beam himself back to the Mirror Universe as usual. He's still looking for those pots. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends. I am trying to get this channel to 10,000 subscribers before the end of the year, so share it with your friends and your peeps. We'll try to get that going. If the subscriber count goes up, then we'll give a segment to the Cannon Cop. He can come in and do a segment each month or whatever. That's it. You can also support this channel on Patreon. Thank you so much for watching, as I mentioned, and as usual, live long and prosper.